It was an interesting moment for me at the time because I really wasn't seeking someone or anyone, I should say. I just hoped if I did meet someone that they would be a positive person to meet. Everything he was saying and doing was making me fall in love with him.
A lot of people quit going, that's just how it got to be. But she keeps on fighting and it takes a lot of guts. No justice, no peace!
You two are like two immature cartoon characters.
Objection. Where's any of this evidence of this?
Order.
I'm sanctioning you for $15,000.
I have a right to see my son.
This is all about a child. A poor boy born into a battle.
This is not justice!
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
No peace, no justice!
You're trying to have a judge removed.
I'll sanction her for thousands of dollars for coming to court.
How much money is Mr. K-Man, Mr. Gee paying you and your fellow judges to keep this woman away from her child?
I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I've gotta survive, gonna survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I'm gonna survive. Even with your lies.
This is the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Dr. Meleeka Clary is a clinical psychologist, actress, director, model, and human rights activist. On this program, Dr. Meleeka guides you toward a more fulfilling life through the power of positive psychology. And now, please welcome your host, Dr. Meleeka Clary.
Welcome to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings. Welcome. Hello, everyone. First of all, let me say thank you, God, for getting me up this morning and being able to do the show and say, I love you to my loved ones. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Oh, my goodness. I've been gone, y'all. I have to say, my birthday month, there's so many people that reached out to me and said, happy birthday. Thank you, guys. You guys, my fans, friends, family, you guys are like, oh my gosh, I just love you all. Thank you for all the shout outs, all the little gifts and little signs and videos and things that you made. And it's just amazing. I'm so blessed to feel that. I always tell people, your birthday is a special moment. And I know some people's like, well, it's just another day, but it's really not. Why? Because it's a day that your mom and your dad was waiting for you. Okay, so they knew you were coming. So a birthday to me is like a holiday. You were born on a day, celebrate. Give yourself that reason to be like, okay, I don't need to work today. I don't need to be stressed out today. I don't want to do anything. Today's my birthday. You can feel that way because it's your birthday. Now, I don't just celebrate that one day. I do the whole month. I try to be stressless, but I'm going to tell you, didn't work out for my birthday month. The stress came, but I have to tell you how I dealt with things. Because life is real. And as I should say, life is lifing. These are my morning vibes. I say that because I'm working on a song or two or something. And the title is Morning Vibes. But something for me. But I express these are my morning vibes, and sometimes when you go through things, you don't want to deal with them, but you're forced to deal with them. But I do want to go right back in before I go into everything, because I miss you guys. You know, I am entitled to have a break, and I actually like the break only because there's things I needed to do. So before I even go into all the stuff that I did do, and things that I went through, because Sharon's caring, folks, because I got to keep it to you 100. Got to keep it to you just like that. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, because I have a voice and you do too. And we need now to utilize our voice, because so many things are happening and so many people are doing things and getting away with it. And that, why are they getting away with it? That's the question. But before I even go into that, it's like diarrhea at the mouth. I got so much to talk about. Thank you again for all the shout outs for my birthday. It was a blessing to have that. I mean, I had a good time with my family, my friends. Not much traveling, just stayed in the area of state of Indiana, but I did find things to do. And, I just appreciate all my friends and, close friends and special friend. And, special friends that really, really made my birthday, just a wonderful, wonderful time everyone did. And it was great. Well, all the things that goes on, sometimes you really can't just enjoy that birthday moment. And I started to do that of, just, I didn't do it last year, took the whole month off of my birthday. I didn't even do nothing like that. But I felt like it was a calling because it was so much going on. So with that being said, I may go into some things. But before I do that, I want to continue to tell you guys my prayers are out for families that are being taken away from their families with this being deported. And I don't want to imagine. I don't want to imagine that at all. I don't think it's right with compassion, because I wouldn't want to be torn away from my family. And that's something that I can relate to. I don't get into politics. I am into some things of politics because I argue about, human rights and being a human right activist. You can't not be somewhat in politics or hear something, because, especially corruption. And I experience and still experience it to this day of judicial corruption and biases. And so with that being said, I don't want to imagine that my family is being taken away from me because I chose to live somewhere to give a better life for them, to try to give a better life for them. And evidently, there's regulations that we deal with in this state. And whatever was going on in other years, we had different I want to say presidents that did different things, you know what I mean? And some people do different things and some people don't, and we have a president who's doing whatever he's doing. I don't have anything to say about a lot of things because I don't want to get into the debate of, not agreeing. I just have to say this as I want to say a pragmatic kind of individual. I say liberal somewhat too. When you do things without compassion, and I think we talked about this on the show, when you do something without it, it makes you seem ruthless. And I think that's what we're experiencing. How can you take a person away from their family or loved ones, just like that, and just shift them back wherever they came from or shift them somewhere? I think that's what we're looking at, and why that feeling of deprive or separation ain't looked at. I think that's what's going on, because you think about it in a realistic way. If somebody was here illegal, you could just deport them and they're not supposed to be here. I mean, you go to different countries, supposed to have a visa or whatever, some type of permission to stay in the country as long as you can or want to. But I think it's compassion is where we're having the problem is, kids are losing their parents. People are now going to be struggling because now they had that 2-person income and now maybe one, maybe not, or the children need to find somewhere else to live. And that's what we're going through. It's sad, but we're going through that today. We're going through that. And I pray for this. I pray to God for this country to get better and to heal, because we need that. And God, I hope you're listening. And whenever you feel, to help us, because I think the families that's going through so much and other things that's going on, I just hope that they find their way to you and put their fears into you and ask for your help. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Because the human flesh is going to do it. I would love to say there's going to be peace with the human flesh, but it's not always. So you're going to have to go ahead and pray to that spirit that whatever that may be. Because it's going to have to take something that's not natural to help. And because right now, this is what we got. Now, if it's the fight in you, ask God to give you that fight. And I will tell you more about that fight. But I have to say that to you guys, because I really feel the compassion. I do. And if I could change the situation, I would. And so I think that if we could share love, that's a start. And I'm trying to share that love with you. That's a start, people. So with that being said, I'm going to take a brief commercial, and I will be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings, as we come live. I'll be right back. Now, I always tell people communication is so important. If you are feeling a certain way, what's the best way? Accept it and talk about it. How do you feel about this situation? Talk about it. That's the best advice, is talk about how you're feeling about the situation. Whatever is bothering you, whatever's you're carrying that weight, talk about it. Because if you release it, you'll feel much better. You might think that, you're going to be judged. If you feel that someone else is in your family is keep on letting you know all the problems that have happened and they won't let it go, let them know so then you can let it go. Explain how you feel, that I'm letting that go. There was nothing I could have done. And if I did do something, well, mistakes happen. We all make mistakes, and that's what happened. Thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, or I should say, welcome back. I'm still getting on, getting the hang of things again. Remember, I was on vacation. I wasn't on vacation, really. It just felt like I wasn't on the show, but I had work to do, people. Before we left, I was telling everyone that I'm praying for you all. I just would like us to remember that compassion. So this goes out to you police officers too, that if you're doing things in ICE, just think about compassion. I mean, I know you getting orders, you have to do your job, but think about just how you're doing it. I mean, it is ripping people away from their family, and it's a hard position to be in. I wouldn't want the job. That's all I could tell you. I try hard to put families together, not tear them apart. So, because I know how that feels when it's out of your control. So just remember, people, let's try to have compassion about the situation, regardless of who's made the decision. Okay. Now, with that being said, Now, I want to go into some things that I've been doing. And I have to mention this. I know people email me and stuff like that. I have been on a sabbatical probably since, I don't know, before, wait, a little bit before. I haven't been taking new clients or anything. I'm pro bono, but I have not seen any clients for a while. And it's because went through some medical things. Now that has passed. I found out what's going on. But thank God I healed and things moved on. But my mom also is sick. Now, my mom's health have not got better. It's just kind of like every day it's challenging. Um, so we've been dealing with that. And I'm the caretaker of my mom. I'm out of a state that is, just primarily with me. My siblings are in a different state, so I'm that person. So I've been dealing with that. Now, you say, Dr. Meleeka Clary, you don't got any issues. Yeah, it's difficult because my mom has always been independent and she's always lived with me, but now it's really I have to take care of her like a child. And ways that some things that's happening to her, she doesn't know. And she don't get it because it's dementia and there's chronic ill and there's other things that's, diminishing. But she's still here, she's still with me. And I think that is what's so important to me because I want to spend as much time as I can. So I'm able to give you information on my show. I'm still going to do my show, informative. Okay. You can still call and I'll give you resources and farm you out. So basically, I can do that. It's just, seeing you and all that stuff or like that. I not right now. I'm gonna have to, put a temporary ban on my supervision hours because that's what I've been doing, supervision hours with Dr. Grant and seeing clients. But right now, I'm just gonna have to wait because I want to spend time with my mom, but I also need to work around her schedule. They got me busy. I mean, she has 7 people coming to the house because I think I mentioned to you before when she was in a rehab facility for like maybe 1 or 2 days. She almost died in there, and we just can't have that. So she has care at home, and so I'm her caregiver, and and all that legal jogging, partying, whatever. Yeah. So because she needs to be taken care of. This is what you sign up when you have children. You have to take care of your elderly parents. And I don't mind. She's done wonders for me, for my children. And so me sacrificing that for her, it's what I should do. I should do that. But that has been heavy on my heart because I watched my mom be okay one day and then pneumonia. She still got pneumonia, you guys. It's just not going away, and she's got a hernia and just it's in her stomach. It's all types of things going on. So it's a sad thing to hear and watch, but some days is good, some days is bad. So I am working with that. So during the month of my birthday, I was caring for my mom, but I did get away because you know how important I believe self-care. So even if I go to dinner or I go out or do something, that is a break for me. Okay. I will say if I get out of town for 2 days, that's a break. If I can, because usually maybe a weekend I can do something because I can get help. I can't really get as much help during the week because people work. So I'm that person. And there is other service, so she's on a waiting list, and all this is going on in life. We don't know what's going on. So, but it's okay. I work around that. So I got to bring my mother somewhere, then I have to bring her. I mean, it's just the way it goes. I try not to really have to because, wheelchair and I have to deal with all that. But if I got to do what I got to do, I got to do what I got to do. It's my mom. Now I have to take her. If I got an appointment, I just took her to appointments with me that I had to go. Now I kept her in a car because I had catch any viruses or anything because she's prone to, catch things too. I do. I ask God for help, and He's helping, gets me up, and I'm able to do it. So these are going on. So I'm not thinking about myself like that. I am self-care. So don't think that I'm just running and I'm not providing self-care. I do my walks, my exercise, things I got to do too. So I still able to keep it mentally. So I want you to know that these are things that what's going on with me. So when you start, and maybe I don't think it's going to be much different. Just following, so you read about me and things like that. You can always still email me. You could always call. I will give you resources. I'm still going to do my activist duties, because I love that. That's a natural to me, helping other people. But I'm also here to share information that you need to know. So in the midst of all these things, and before I even get into that, because that's going to be because today we're going to talk about judicial deception and biases in people's attitudes, and how the judicial system is treating civilians without judicial powers. And the reason why I have to mention this, because I received some bias and some bad attention and attitude, and not really good vibes. And when I talk about compassion, it is not just compassion with, just with me, or, we have to have compassion for others. No, I'm talking about everyone should think about compassion. And if you're not raised with compassion, you don't know if you're hurting. We need to change that, because it's coming out in people's work and their attitude and how they act and their behaviors. And we need to change that, because that's what I have to explain to people. You want a better result, then come at people at a different direction or a better way. If you come at someone negative, they're going to come back at you negative. If you don't have a positive reaction, well, you're going to get a negative reaction. That's it. That's how it goes. It's called act reaction. And you may not understand what that means. When you do something to somebody that somebody's not happy with, or it just is, they don't feel that's right or cruel, well, they're going to retaliate. And that's what people do. So I'm just going to explain to you, here's my retaliation. And my retaliation is not go and, hurt somebody physically. No. Sharing is caring. That's what my retaliation is. My voice, my mouth, God gave it to me. When you try to silence me, I have to let you know I'm not following that rule, because I don't have to. So when you do something wrong that I don't agree with, I'm going to share that. So I'm going to explain to you the things that have happened in the judicial system to me. What happened wasn't right, not fair, and it's not legally right either. But these are the things that happen behind closed doors, because not an audience is in the court and they could take advantage of you. So with that being said, like I said, Sharon's caring. So you guys, because I know lawyers and doctors and judges and politicians, you're watching my show. And I want you to hear what's going on and why I am who I am and why I act the way I act. Because these things are happening behind doors, and why the people are upset, and including me. So with that being said, I'm going to take a brief commercial, and I will be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings. Don't go nowhere, fam. I'll be right back.
Even in young individuals, older, communication, active listening, it helps. Because if a person is telling you something, try to listen to something they're saying. I have to say, when you touched about suicide too, people say, oh, well, that's the first time I heard or didn't know. Well, are we not communicating? Are we not talking?
Right.
Because how are
Right.
you not knowing what's going through in this individual's mind? Are we not asking another person? How can you be a wife or a husband and you're in the same home and not knowing what your wife or husband's going through. And then all of a sudden this person commits suicide. I think we need to change that. Where's the communication? Where is not seeking therapy? Is it our pride? Are we ashamed if we're having these thoughts? Because that's where the mental illness is developing even more, because people are not sharing or caring enough, or it's a phase, because that's what I'm seeing, and that's across the board. It doesn't matter who you are. If you could be a celebrity, you could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor, you could be a server. It doesn't matter, but you're human. So to me, we need to start changing the communication process. We need to talk.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recording, where we're coming live. We're coming live. No, I need some water. I was afraid that was going to happen because coming off a little cough, a little something. I don't know. It's something. It is something. Okay. So let me get to it because I'm not very happy about the situation. All right. So before I left, I was talking to you about judicial deception and the bias, but I have to use myself as an example because that's what I know. Okay. I had a situation that I had went to court. Now you could file something in the court, and I don't think this is public because when you deal with your child or any modifications or child or custody or child support, anything like that, I don't believe that is open to the public. So you might look at the case and you may not be able to read any of the motions because I know I can't just touch it. You got to go there and get copies. But it's still public information. I don't think it's just on internet. Anyway, here's the thing about it. I filed a modification years ago. Look, I think a year ago, something like that. And modification consists of child support, whatever the case may be, because, my kid is about to start college. I had, dealt with my ex-husband. When I say co-parenting is important, we both at that time, because he was making a lawyer, so y'all already know, y'all watched the movie, $34,000. This is what he said anyway, right? So if this was true, and I'm okay with it, this was true, what he was making, then when I sent him the scholarship information, he would have jumped on it. Because anything under $40,000, you would have been approved for a full ride. Both my kids have, my adult daughters had full rides. You have to pay some tuition, but it wasn't a whole tuition. And they approved. In the state of Indiana, they give these scholarships at 7th and 8th grade. Well, I was able to be approved myself, pre-approved, but he was staying with him more time. So I figured he'd do the application. He could have let me know if he didn't. I gave him information, but he didn't. So here you go. You got a guy who's lying about how much he's making and didn't fill the application. So my son loses out that scholarship. Co-parent is so important. You have to learn how to co-parent with people. But this is somebody who has have a attitude with control. You want to do it his way. But when you start going in the court system and saying that you make a certain amount of money, then you need to prove that. And he never had to prove it. Never had to prove it. No, never ever had to prove it. Just say it. Nothing really had to prove it. And 4 years prior, or actually forward, I asked, hey, you got the information. He's making over 100-something thousand, but didn't ever disclose that. And I was like, oh, so now he's not approved, but he would have been approved, but he didn't file because he can't qualify. Now you have no problem telling how much he's making. But the reason why he's telling is because I have, friends or gifts and people help me over the years. So we're looking at what bank accounts. Now I'm sharing this information because, or they help you. They're not supposed to be on the hook for your child support or for your parenting time, anything like that. That has nothing to do with people that help. Or because, gifts are inconsistency. It's not an everyday thing. They don't have to. It's because they want to help you. That's it. I got personal life. They want to help you. You know, if I don't have children by that person, he wants to help me. That doesn't mean he's on the hook. Or she, you could be talking about, I'm talking about me, on the hook for anything. Well, in this court system, which is really interesting because I did a change of venue for my custody and child support and all this from Hamilton, but it's still a Hamilton case, but went to Madison Anderson. I've noticed that this judge, shoot names, William Byers, I believe he's a magistrate. And I'm going to say Mark Dooley, he is the senior judge. I have to say I'm surprised of the rulings. Why? Because I was change of venue when I went there because it was a change of venue of an abuse of discretion. And because it was abuse of discretion, you would think I would be treated fairly. I was with them. They didn't go my way. They just didn't go a negative way to say you're biased. They didn't choose either one of our sides. So with all that going on, when I think I told you guys a while back about Alias and them people going into my daughters and them account and doing all crazy stuff, then I told you that all ceased. They gave money, then they released everything good. But what's interesting, he went to the child support case. And I said to myself, he got rid of his lawyer, and I'm wondering why. So I was thinking to myself, why would he get rid of his lawyer? And this person, that lawyer wasn't from Anderson. Now I kind of realized why I got rid of. He went and got a game player, Jane Cotton, attorney Jane Cotton. She's an attorney who works in that court. So she knows the rules and she knows the judges. Good old boy network. Here we go again. See what I mean? And that's the thing. I said, wait a minute. Something's about to go down. Something's about to go down. And long story short, because I'm trying to speed it up, we get in court, and I had, before we even get in court, I had put motions because there's times I could not attend, but I had to get a lawyer, got a lawyer, and they, spoke to them for me because I was going through a medical issue, and my mother was going through things. So it was a lot for me to even do this or do that to get to court, whatever the case may be. But I sent a counsel and I asked for time, and they penalized me because there was things scheduled, like award ceremony. I was like, okay, that was already scheduled, you guys. You already knew. Y'all asked the calendar. Them trying to make me feel like I'm not supposed to have a life, or I'm not supposed to be able to do something because there's certain things I can't do financially. But when people help you and they doing things for you, it's okay to me. I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. But that doesn't mean that I can't attend to those things. People are acknowledging my, good works, and I appreciate that. So I like to show up if I can. Okay. Sometimes I'll be honest with you with the break. Sometimes I like to have a little break. It gives me a smile and take me a break out of all this judicial deception crap and what I go through. So with that being said, I went through all this, in the court, and I watched this judge, and I want to say I watched him do something I've never seen. And this is, well, actually, I can't say never seen. I've seen people abuse. I probably did some abusing in the court system too, because I get mad now. But I watched this judge, this magistrate, William Byers. I think that's the one. Or if I'm confused, William Byers or Mark Dooley, either one of them, because I don't remember. They're both older people, so I'm not sure. But I do know this judge watched this woman, attorney Jane Cotton, mentally abuse me. And when I say mentally abuse me, this medical issue I had was very serious, to a point that she was able to run that on the ground. And I almost, to be honest with you, if I didn't have the composure that I have, that I've been through the abuse of biases and I've been through the mental abuse from them, I probably would have jumped over that table and gave her a piece. Okay? I'm just telling you. Because people do that to you. They try to just poke at you and maybe that's what they wanted me to do. See, I haven't did that for 16 years. And you're wondering why she didn't pop off. We're waiting for her. Oh, yeah, so they could lock me up. And that's the thing about it. No, I fight you by going to court. But one thing I will say, no court, and I'm going to say this clearly, no court, no judge, no attorney have the right to demean you, to abuse you, to mentally hurt you just because you're in court. So let me make sure I'm clear on that. So there is things that you can do. I can report her to her bar association. I can do it. And the next time she do something like that, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I will be doing that against the judges too, who allow that type of behavior. Because that's not right. Because just because I utilize my voice, because I do not believe what they're doing is right. They're not utilizing the law. I put in, after this order came in, I want to say after this order came, I put in a modification because all of a sudden my mom became really ill and I had to leave to be her totally caregiver. Then I had to put a modification of circumstances because it's continued circumstances. And it was denied. So, that was denied because this order just came out. That was denied. That is a right of due process. You can't deny it. But you know how I am. Appeal. So I had to amend my appeal and put that in there too, because these are the rights that's being taken away behind closed doors, people. See, if I was an attorney, they wouldn't do that. But because I'm not, they're doing that. They are doing just that. And I don't appreciate that. And it's just like, wow, this is what's going on. I mean, but that's okay. Because God is my savior. And God is who I'm going to put all my fears in him. So that means that all the fear, I'm going to take it to God. That's why I fear God. So be careful when you keep on messing with God's child. Vengeance is not mine, people. That's God. So I'm going to keep on fighting a good fight. But I want to let you know, I know what you're doing. You're mixing up the laws. And they're only being favorable to people who got good old boy network hookup. That's it. When you stick to the law does not say that you can go ahead and if somebody give you a gift or a Christmas gift or something like, you're supposed to count that in child support or anything like that. That's not. Or make friends be responsible for your child support or anything like that. These are friends. These are people. You're not supposed to do it, but you're doing that to me. Why? Because you have this attorney on the other side. But I have to say, let me take my ex-husband out of it. Let me just put in his friend that he hired has the hookup and the help. Because these judges were doing pretty okay before that. And now they just turned on the bad side. And how? Because they got good old girl. She gonna get it done. Yeah, with hookup, because you ain't much of an attorney. And that's only how you're able to do it, with hookup. You have to break the law to do something. But when you find out and you fight law with law and what it is out there to protect us, you lost that case. And with all that hookup, you lost that case. So, but God don't like ugly. I had a situation that I had to modify. I put that in. Denied. But they owe me about $6,000 to $7,000. I'm already paid up all the way to my boy's 19. So I don't have any child support at this point because they owe me money. So here you go. But did they take that off the ballot? No. So we're going to see if they put me in contempt for anything when they owe me $6,000 to $7,000. See, that's the thing. You guys see, you think I'm not that bright about it. I pay attention what you're doing. Because this is what's happened in the judicial world. What happened to me because I got a voice. They mentioned, oh, you got a platform, you got a show, you got a. Yes, I do. And I utilize my show because of the corruption that's going on at Madison now. It was a Hamilton County case. Switch and change venue to Madison and Anderson County. Okay. So now I got to deal with that. But don't think about it, people. I'm coming with people. So I'm waiting for you to haul me back. because I'm basically coming with people, because I'm tired of just sitting up there letting you get away behind closed doors. We need to know, and you need to show that bad behavior to the people so they can put it out there, so we can get rid of people like you who's sitting on that bench. You don't need to be on that bench. And attorneys that's sitting out there practicing don't need to be attorneys anymore. We need to get good people, because you're giving bad names to good attorneys and bad names to good judges and magistrates that's out there trying to make a purpose. Okay, that's the problem I don't like, because I play on that same game. I got good people that I know, bad people I know, but I hang around the good people that's trying to do good. And I know bad lawyers and I know good lawyers. Okay, I know some good judges, I know some bad judges. Okay, so when me going to school, and I went to school with a lot of these people, I mean, not these, but in particular of just the career alone, I know there's some good people out there. So to me, I'm not sitting up there putting down anybody in the judicial system that is doing their job and being less biased. There's a difference. This judicial bias has to stop. And you keep on following that man, because they ain't seen him put no evidence. They also, you know what's so interesting? Here's the thing about it. They also wrote, like, had me own a business I don't even own. And I said, wait a minute, I wrote something else. They changed my answers. They changed my answers in front of this judge. And I caught it. And I said, wait, that ain't me. That's not what I wrote. And the lawyer, Attorney Jane Cotton, said, huh? What? They try to slick something, change the information, and they try to pass it as evidence. And the judge didn't do nothing about it. He wasn't like, oh, it was like he's part of it. They did that in my face, but I caught it. And I said, no, that is not, and it's on. And when I go and do this appeal, it's going to come up. You know how appeals are public, right? That's right. And I do have the tape for that, but, I can't play the CD. Oh, no, can't do that, because they know. But ain't going to stop me from talking about it. I can't show you and share what actually happened in that court, but I could definitely talk about it. And what's happening now ain't right, but that's okay. Judicial deception, judges and attorneys, just let you know. And I'm talking specifically about Madison, who used to be a Hamilton County case that is still over there. So I know all y'all still talk, but I'm letting you know, no, I'm not going without being seen or heard. So I'm paying attention, but I'm rallying up for the day right now. The word is out. So when I'm sitting up here telling you people, and when that time comes, you're welcome to come to court, because it's still an open gallery, as I remember. So, because this could happen to you. This could happen to you. You got to know your rights, and you should not be penalized just because you file an appeal. And I was told you file appeal 14 times. Well, that's 14 times I believe that you guys did something wrong. That just tell me. I'm wondering if Supreme is not going to realize that, listen, why don't you listen to this woman? Something's going on in these courts, because they're taking rights away from the civilians. They're just manipulating the courts and the trial rules that is there to protect us. And I'm not going for it anymore. And I don't think I was going for it. I started back in 2016. Y'all remember. Because some of y'all been with me since 2016. So you already know I am getting fired up. But there's more work to do. More work to do. And we're going to get to it. But you know what? I run out of time to get to it. And I just had to get that off my chest. I feel so much better, because I'm going to share this video. Share. And I'll be making reels out of it, because I want the ones that I'm talking about, you hear me clear. Because I'm not afraid. I'm afraid of God, but not you. Not you at all. Just let you know, because on what you're doing is trick-or-treating the court system. That's all you doing. That is so much of the good old network. That's it. Somebody said to me the other day, you might have to come with 3 corners deception too. God is good. You never know. Because I sure got a lot to say and show. But I do want to do the Boston movie one day before I do that. But I'll tell you, it's not a movie that I would love to do. It's a movie that should be done. It's a must if it keep going in my head, if I keep on playing it. It's only because there's so much corruption going on, and it's just terrible. Life is not supposed to be this difficult, people, but people are making it difficult for people. I only go to court so you could do fair things. You didn't look at the man who's making 120 some thousand. You're looking at the other people that's helping me. This man bring me back and forth court and doing things. And when I do bring him to court, I can't get justice. You look at my motions and look the other way. You're just saying I went to court. That's when you gave him all those judgments. You gave him judgments because you tried to shut me up because I went to court, because I fight for my rights. But here's the judgment that you can't even explain. I mean, if you watch the movie, 3 Coins Inception, still available on Prime Video. If you watch the movie, you'll know I just got judgments just for showing up. Just for showing up. But you got rights. If you can't pay, you can't pay. You got rights. So anyway, I just had to get that off my chest because that's what's been going on with me. I had to deal with that during my birthday month. Okay? My birthday month. But that's all right. Love is still in the air. Okay? And remember, I'm only talking to the people that's in innocent Madison County. Okay? Because all y'all the judges and what now, if you are doing something to somebody, you better start clearing it up because it ain't right. I mean, really, we only want fair and justice. No one's going to be perfect. I get that. There's no always right. But if the trial rules are there for the civilians, we should be able to utilize those as well. So with that being said, I am going to get ready to go. And I have to say, thank you for tuning in because I have to, we have to do some, so I'm going to wrap it up early today. Okay. Because there's some things I'm just getting back. So I got things all wrapped up and everything like that. But you know what? I appreciate all of you. You already see my Facebook. You already see that my social media links. And please keep on following me. And thank you for if you had voted for me for the Elton John Foundation, the AIDS Foundation. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to be out of the running after 5th because I've seen always be 4th or 5th. But it was a good ride, though. I like to chat, and I hope a lot of people pledged money. I hope they donated, but it was great. And thank you, Elton John, for giving me an opportunity to ride on your charity foundation, the AIDS Foundation platform. Thank you for letting me be seen and utilizing your name. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I wish you all well. And thank you to the fans. And like I said, not upset people. I just had to say some things because what I tell you, and I'm always going to tell you, I'm a human being first. And I go through it. But it's how you deal with it. And they can push me to those buttons, but I still got to come back to say, okay, hold up, God, what's going on? So, and that's the same thing for you. One day at a time, people. One day at a time. That's all we got here. And that's all I'm saying. Stay in a fight. As much as some people are negative and they don't like their life and they want you to have a bad life, you got to fight against that. No matter how you look at it, you got to fight against that. And that's where we at. So right now, don't worry about it. I'm okay. I'm going to keep praying. You pray for me. I pray for you. I pray for this world. Like I said, we need change and we need to make sure that we are all right. So I'm going to say, if I didn't say I love you, if someone didn't say I love you, I love you. And I want you to have a wonderful day and a wonderful rest of the weekend because I'm still trying to enjoy life, period. And that's all I can say. I got some makeup to do because they didn't mess me up a little bit, but it didn't mess up my birthday month. Not with that. I just got to make sure my mom is all right. And that's what's on my mind. But the prayers. Thank you. And like I said, if you need some help, email me so I can send you. You need therapists, you need other stuff, a doctor, a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever resources. And even if you're in a situation like that, reach out because we got some people that's ready to help. And believe me, we're waiting. Because we're always waiting in the cut. But I'm fired up now. So with that being said, God bless. Take care of yourself. I love you. And have a wonderful rest of the day. If I've said it again, I'll say it one more time. And just one day at a time, people. And thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Powered by Sweet Recordings. Take care of yourself.